What if I told you that one of the world's biggest movie stars walked into a hospital and was treated like a nobody? No red carpet, no bodyguards, just a humble man in black clothes. A doctor looked him up and down and humiliated him right there in front of everyone.
Why?
Because he didn't recognize him. What the doctor didn't know was, this nobody actually owned the hospital he worked in. And what happened next? It wasn't revenge, it wasn't drama, but it changed that doctor's life forever. This is the untold story of when Keanu Reeves was disrespected by a man who should have known better. Ask ChatGPT. Sir, this room is for VIPs only. You don't belong here. A sharp, dismissive voice cut through the silence of the pristine hospital corridor. Heads turned. A few nurses froze mid-step. Standing near the glossy marble reception was a tall, lean man dressed in simple black clothes. No designer brand logos. No expensive jewelry. No flashy entourage. Just a quiet presence, calm, collected. It was Keanu Reeves. But the doctor didn't recognize him. Keanu had arrived quietly, without fanfare, to visit a close friend undergoing surgery in one of the hospital's top private wards. No cameras, no security, just respect and concern. That was always Keanu's way. But to this particular doctor, Keanu looked like just another visitor, and not a very important one. Judging by his plain clothes and humble posture, the doctor saw no reason to treat him with any special courtesy. You should wait outside with the general public, the doctor added with a condescending smile. This lounge is for important people. Keanu didn't protest. He didn't flash his name or pull rank. He simply gave a soft smile, nodded, and stepped aside. What the doctor didn't know was that the quiet man he had just dismissed owned the very hospital he was standing in. Dr. Mitchell was known across the hospital for two things: his unmatched skill in the operating room and an ego that could fill an entire wing. His reputation as a life-saving surgeon was well-earned, but over the years, something changed. The more praise he received, the more he started believing that status was everything. Expensive suits, VIP access, first-class respect, that's what he thought defined a person's worth. So when he entered the executive lounge and spotted a man in plain black clothes calmly seated among high-profile patients, he felt offended. Without hesitation, he leaned toward a nearby nurse and whispered, loud enough for others to hear, "How did security let this guy in?" The nurse froze, glancing nervously at Keanu. Most staff instantly recognized him, but they also knew Keanu Reeves hated the spotlight. No one wanted to embarrass him. Keanu, unbothered, remained quiet, casually scrolling his phone. Just then, a senior nurse passed by and said gently, "Mr. Reeves, the director's office is ready if you prefer privacy." Dr. Mitchell's expression changed. Mr. Reeves? That name, it sounded far too familiar. Later that afternoon, Dr. Mitchell relaxed in the hospital cafeteria, leaning back in his chair and laughing with two junior doctors as he recounted his earlier encounter. "You should have seen him, standing there like he owned the place," he chuckled, shaking his head. The younger doctors exchanged glances until one finally asked, "Wait, who are you talking about?" Dr. Mitchell waved it off. "Some guy hanging around the executive lounge in plain clothes. Looked totally out of place." The junior doctor furrowed his brow. "Was he tall? Black clothes? Kinda quiet?" Mitchell nodded. The young doctor's eyes widened. "That wasn't just some guy. That was Keanu Reeves." Dr. Mitchell blinked. "Who?" Keanu Reeves the movie star. He's the silent partner who funded this hospital. Didn't you notice the children's wing named after his mother? Mitchell's face drained of color. He immediately pulled out his phone, searched the name, and froze. Headlines flashed across the screen: Keanu's donations, his foundation work, his silent generosity. In that moment, Dr. Mitchell realized he hadn't just embarrassed himself, he had deeply disrespected the man who made healing possible for thousands. The next morning, Dr. Mitchell found himself pacing nervously outside the executive lounge, a feeling of unease replacing his usual arrogance. His heart thudded as he spotted Keanu Reeves approaching, same quiet demeanor, same modest black clothes, and that familiar calm, unreadable expression. Gathering his courage, Dr. Mitchell stepped forward. "Mr. Reeves, I need to apologize," he began, his voice unsteady. Keanu stopped, meeting his eyes with a soft, almost comforting gaze. "For what?" he asked gently. Dr. Mitchell swallowed hard. "For the way I treated you yesterday. I didn't recognize you. I made assumptions. I was rude. And I'm truly sorry." There was a long, uncomfortable silence. Dr. Mitchell expected sarcasm, maybe even anger. But Keanu simply nodded and said, "It's all right. You were doing what you thought was right." The doctor blinked, stunned by the grace in those words. No lecture. No ego. Just genuine forgiveness. Keanu gave a small smile. "Next time, maybe just don't judge someone by their clothes." That single sentence landed harder than any scolding, and it stayed with Dr. Mitchell forever. News of the incident never reached the press, not because it wasn't the kind of story tabloids would love, but because Keanu personally requested silence. He didn't want attention. No headlines. No viral moment. He wasn't there to make a statement or prove a point. He was there for one reason, to quietly support a sick friend in need. But while the media never got hold of the story, the hospital staff did. Whispers spread through the corridors, from nurses to interns to senior specialists. They all heard about the humble man who didn't react with anger or ego, even when disrespected. And more importantly, they saw what came after. Dr. Mitchell changed. Not instantly, but noticeably. He became softer in his approach. He began saying, "please," and "thank you," more sincerely. He started acknowledging everyone, not just patients with private rooms or expensive suits. And whenever Keanu Reeves was mentioned, he no longer scoffed. Instead, he'd pause, smile slightly, and say, "That man taught me more about humility in 2 minutes than all my years in medical school ever could." If this story moved you, even just a little, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories just like this. Because sometimes, the quietest moments teach the loudest lessons. And who knows, the next nobody you ignore might just be the one who changes your life. Ask ChatGPT.